It is Wednesday night. It's January 11th, 2023. A brand new episode of the Kicking Out podcast is here, ready to rock and roll. I'm Tanner Lee, back this week. Happy New Year to everybody out there listening or watching to the Kicking Out podcast since I was absent last week. But thanks, like always, to my co-host Paul Zartman, who's here with me tonight, and Austin Shepard, who can't join us tonight for filling in for me last week.
Absolutely. I was sitting there thinking when Shep said he wasn't going to be able to join us tonight, and I was like, man, I can't remember. It's probably been a good 6, 7, 8 months since you and I did one of these, just the two of us.
Yeah, I was looking back the other day. There was a few this summer and the fall where I think each pairing hosted a show. So me and Shep once, you and me once, you and him once. So that's why it's nice to have a team of three.
It is. Maybe one day we'll have more than three. Who knows?
Maybe. We'll see. We might keep growing. But we appreciate everybody who listens in and tunes in every week. We enjoy doing this, and hope you guys enjoy tuning in. And we're a good pair of trios, but we don't have any. Wait.
Oh no!
One of us still does.
You want to? Jay White. That's all I'm going to say right there. Jay White.
Well, now you know that it looks like he's leaving New Japan, so it makes sense why they got the title off him.
Yeah, and Kenny Omega. Not so much Kenny. If Jay wouldn't have screwed me, I would be champion. But I got 7 out of 9.
Yeah, no, you got the most predictions right. You had two big ones go the wrong way. And
yeah.
I was the only one who put low confidence on Will because I thought Will would beat Kenny, but in the back of my mind, I said it wouldn't shock me for whatever reason with the partnership if they had Kenny win the U.S. title. That's exactly what happened. So.
Yeah, it is. So congratulations to Kenny Omega on that. And congratulations to you for winning. I'll get it back at Revolution.
Yes, I am. I'm not going to lie. It's going to sit on my shoulder until March 5th when I put it on the line. So 4th, 5th, whatever that Sunday is. I think it's 5th. So February, I'm taking it off from defenses for February, but I'll state it right now. If I do happen to be victorious over you in Austin at Revolution, I will put it on the line at the end of March at Super Card of Honor, ROH Super Card of Honor. So
okay,
there we go. I am a fighting champion.
All right.
But fun show tonight. Good Dynamite tonight. It was a very hyped up Dynamite from the LA Forum, or the Kia Forum, as it's called in LA. I thought it was pretty good. I have a few small complaints that we'll get into.
I have one really big one that we'll get into when that time comes.
Yeah, but, mine might be a big one too, actually. But
mine, I got to give props now before I forget and we get distracted because it happens. We may not go down in as many rabbit holes tonight, but we still get distracted. Big shout out to Excalibur for correcting my biggest complaint for tonight.
I know what you're talking about now.
So, yeah. Well, I'm sure everybody does at this point.
Yeah, but one thing I didn't get to, and you guys talked about, I think, a little bit last week, or maybe you didn't. I don't remember. I've slept since then. But what do you guys think about the new set and the look of Dynamite?
I like it. I mean, you don't have the tunnel aspect of everything, but you still get your babyface and heel side. That's still clearly defined. Seemed a little bluer this week around the ring than last week, but maybe I'm just missing that from last week. But
no, at least Twitter was saying the ring apron and the guardrails and everything had the new colors and look, whereas last week they didn't. So.
And I know commentary mentioned that they were different guardrails when somebody got thrown into them at one point. So
it looked like the tops were covered. I've never
Yes.
seen that before in wrestling. The
No.
props of them were covered. So, but no, let's get right into it. Open up tonight with a very hard hitting match with two of AEW's bigger wrestlers, bigger superstars, I guess I'll call them, Adam Hangman Page and John Moxley. Hangman's first time in the ring since November, since he got concussed in the match with Moxley. So good to see him back, medically cleared. But this was a fun one. My fiance was watching this one with me. She asked me who I thought was going to win. I said, honestly, I don't know. I said, these are two of their bigger stars that don't lose very often. And in the end, Hangman picks up a huge victory and handing Mox only his second AEW singles or third AEW singles loss.
And the other two were with belts.
Yep. Kenny Omega and CM Punk.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a fun way to start. I wasn't sure what they were going to start the night off with, but this made
total sense.
Either. This made total sense.
It did. I think Shep and I kind of talked last week. There's two ways you got to start this. You either got to have Moxley Hangman open the show or close the show, and then the other way was either the trios opens or closes the show, and whichever one opens, the other needed to close.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I thought the order of the card tonight was pretty darn good. At the end of the match, we saw Hangman hit the lariat, buckshot lariat. He actually hit a big lariat and then a buckshot lariat. That kept Moxley down, and then Moxley was struggling after the match. Doc Sampson was in checking on him. I saw on Twitter where Wheeler Yuta came out during commercial break. So I think it's all at work. It's not a shoot injury.
One word: vacation.
You would think. The guy's a workhorse, though.
I know, but I mean, remember, he was supposed to go on vacation, and then Brawl Out happened, so that got taken away from him. How do you put him out so he can have a vacation?
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah, maybe gets a couple weeks and then comes back for a build at Revolution. And it wouldn't shock me if, I don't know if they'd run this one back one more time or not, but it was fun. Crowd liked it. And actually, I think the crowd was more pro Hangman than they were pro Mox towards the end.
Yeah. And I think that kind of surprised Moxley even.
Yeah, I think, we know Hangman's popular, but I think we forget just how popular he is sometimes.
Yeah. By the way, this is coffee I'm drinking, just so we're on the same page.
I don't care what you're drinking. Whatever you want. There's no rules on this show.
It looked a little funky, so I wanted to make it clear what I was drinking.
And really fun segment. Actually was going to the restroom and came out, and I didn't see the entrance music. Am I still appearing on your side, Paul? Because I see my Wi-Fi is kind of acting up.
Yes.
You still got me?
You got a little bit dodgy for a second, but it all has got back up now.
Okay. It went away, so maybe we're good to go. Gotta love Xfinity up here sometimes.
Oh, but, so you're going to have issues this week since Shep and I had them nonstop last week.
Yeah, let's knock on wood that we can get through this. But I missed the entrance. I come back and I see Adam Cole in the ring.
Adam Cole, baby.
Man, and I did see a few guys who cover wrestling a few weeks said they were saying something like, hypothetically, if Adam Cole would show up at the show in the Forum. That was a few weeks ago, though. So I'm like, what if they know something? And then it kind of slipped my mind. And so when he showed up tonight, it was a nice surprise. Huge reaction by the crowd.
Yeah. I got to go back and watch that back because they're talking about they come back from commercial break. Moxley's being treated by Doc Sampson. And now we go to the ring with Tony Schiavone.
Yeah.
And then he said something and I didn't catch it. I was building Legos with my oldest at the time.
Nice.
And I didn't catch what Schiavone said, but all of a sudden I heard the music start and I went, oh, Adam Cole.
Schiavone said he takes no pleasure in welcoming the next guest, Adam Cole. Oh, okay. Bebe. And then Adam Cole comes out, and first time since Forbidden Door. Like he said, his shoulder was ripped to shreds, had two really bad concussions back to back. But he talks for a while. And then at the end, he said it's time for the bad news. However, the bad news is not for him. It's for the rest of the AEW locker room because Adam Cole's back. He's not going anywhere. His career was over, and he thought for sure he was finished. But instead, he's not done yet. he has been one of the best wrestlers on the planet for 15 years, and he won't stop until he's the very best. And he thinks he's yet to scratch the surface of what he's capable of. He tells people to remember this day when the new Adam Cole is born. He will make a promise that one day he will be at the top of the mountain, which Paul hopes is the end of 2023, so he can get that prediction right.
I'm hoping. But I remember when we made that prediction, you went, it doesn't look like he's coming back anytime soon. So we'll see.
I was
that
wrong.
Went through my head when that music hit tonight. I was like, yes, I stand a chance. Well, small one, but.
I have him and O'Reilly as a tag champs at the end of the year, but the latest update on Kyle O'Reilly doesn't look promising that he will be back anytime soon. So
yeah.
Looks like he's got a few setbacks in his recovery. So
yeah, well, it sounded like Cole had some too, and got through him pretty quickly.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who he feuds with going into Revolution. But it's great. AEW's got one of their big hitters back.
Yeah. I got thoughts on it that we'll get into after we cover Dynamite.
All right. We then see the Acclaim backstage. They claim they'll be getting stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
I was really hoping for a Max Caster rap tonight with everything that's been going on in the last 36, 48 hours. I really wanted a Max Caster rap.
Yeah, you're not the only one. You're not the only one, but
I think he's still trying to get Siri to answer what rhymes with Vince McMahon.
Or Stephanie McMahon, either one.
Yeah.
We then get Big Bill and Lee Moriarty versus Jungle Hook.
Big Bill.
I knew that
was
it
right. Coming. Say it right.
I am not saying it right. I refuse. But Jungle Hook, and a good call there with the team name there, Paul.
Yeah, I was just being totally off the wall and totally silly with that, and they used it. Thanks, AEW, TK, for listening to KOP.
AEW likes to do that. We had War Joe, and even though it should have been Samoa Low, I still say to this day it should have been Samoa Low instead of War Joe. And now Jungle Hook. It's just like the dumbest, easiest thing to put together they do. But
Hookhausen.
Yep, Hookhausen. But not much goes with Hook. But Hook gets a big pop tonight. So does Jack Perry. Fun match with these two, especially with Taz on commentary. I don't think the end result was ever in question.
No, not in LA.
That we but we got the big moment in the match we were all looking for with Hook hitting a suplex on Big Bill. Big Bill might have helped him out a little bit with a little jump there.
A little bit of a jump, but you know.
But Big Bill's reaction to getting suplex was phenomenal. His surprise reaction was great. Couldn't be better. He sold that well. At the end, though, we saw Jack Perry get the snare trap locked in on Lee Moriarty, and Lee Moriarty taps out. So
quickly.
So I don't think this is the last match of this team that we'll see.
Well, they already have one more victory than Hookhausen did. No, Hookhausen was undefeated. Never mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so they're tied.
Yep, Hook's never lost. So
yeah.
Who do you think loses first, Hook or Jade?
Hook.
Yeah, I think so too.
Unfortunately, I mean, I hate to say that, but I don't know. I have that feeling.
You were just talking about Danhausen, who is the #1 AEW t-shirt seller on Pro Wrestling Tees for 2022. So congratulations to him. That guy knows how to get himself over.
That means he outsold Punk.
Punk was #2. Yep.
That's amazing. Good job, Danhausen. Congratulations.
For a guy that doesn't get a ton of in-ring time. So.
Yeah.
We saw him backstage with Orange Cassidy. They're showing with Paul Walter Hauser.
That's who it is.
And he brought his Golden Globe, but he said he's going to wait until Rampage to show it. He asked Cassidy if he and Trent and the Best Friends are okay, and they both awkwardly say yes. We got to get a split soon with the Best Friends? I honestly wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it.
As long as by December 1st they get back together to win the trios, I'm good. Because I've got them holding. I think I've got them holding the trios.
You do, but you said
it won't be.
You said Orange, Danhausen, and Rocky.
Yes. No. Orange.
You said Rocky Romero.
Well, yeah, but I don't think I had Danhausen in it.
Okay.
Because I had Danhausen with the All Atlantic.
That's right, and Shep had Danhausen, Orange, and Trent.
Yes, I think I had Trent, Chucky T, and Rocky.
I've already decided if the best friends of any combination hold us in the end of the year, you guys both get kudos. So to make it
The
easy,
best friends.
yes, they're all one. But
Yeah, especially since you used the same picture for both of us on our predictions for best friends.
it was impossible to find a picture of both sets of three that you guys picked. So
Oh yeah.
I'm using the same one. This is already enough work. we then
Outwork everyone.
Yes. Okay, Christian. We then got Konosuke Takeshita. You guys were struggling with that last week against Brian Danielson. But before that, MGF comes out. He heard Takeshita is someone the fans think is good, but he hasn't watched any of his stuff. And then he mocks his name and says he needs him to win this. And Takeshita speaks Japanese, and MGF mocks that, tells him to speak American. Instead of English, tells him to speak American. So Takeshita tells him to kiss his ass. He then says, much like Brian, the fans are irrelevant. And then he points out Ken Jeong or Chow, as a lot of people know him off The Hangover, and then Freddie Prinze Jr., who will be starting up his own promotion next year, I believe, in 2024. Cool to see those
thanks
guys
to
there.
His work at WWE.
Yeah, his not so good work as a writer. He gets, he gets on Freddie Prinze and about being a sidekick to a CI dog and in his role of Shaggy and Scooby Doo. So pretty good stuff. But man, this Danielson Takeshita match was awesome, hard hitting. You can tell AEW thinks a lot of Takeshita, and I've read where he's set up for a big push soon, and I think it's time.
I didn't have him anywhere in my predictions for the end of the year. I
almost had him in the All Atlantic, and now I'm really regretting. I even said it on our predictions that I almost put him there, and I really wish I would have, because I think it wouldn't shock me if he has gold by the end of the year. He's that good. I mean, he loses a lot, but he's that good.
Can I add him to my breakout stars of the year?
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. I didn't make graphics for that. So.
Yeah, it's still January.
Yeah, he's the real deal, man. This was a fun match. That move where he caught Danielson midair, or kind of flipped him up midair, that was unbelievable.
Oh man, the dude is talented. This was, I mean, I knew what the outcome was going to be.
We all did. But
man, it could have easily gone either way at different points in that match, and it had me on the edge of my seat thinking it was going to.
Well, and this next series of matches with Brian Danielson, because let's be honest, he's not going to lose before Revolution. We're going to get the Iron match. We got Takeshita this week against Danielson. Next week we get Bandito. These are some awesome matchups that we just need to sit back and relax and enjoy what we're watching, because we were spoiled. We really are as AEW fans.
Yes, we are. We get a lot of great pay-per-view style matches on free TV. Matches.
Yep, absolutely. And Danielson ends up winning with a label lock. Takeshita passed out. So, once again, I like how Moxley and Danielson win a lot of matches by making their opponents pass out, so it doesn't hurt them in the process.
Exactly. But I can see why he passed out pretty quickly. That label lock was a little lower than the chin.
And another thing to keep tabs on, it didn't happen on Dynamite, but it's been happening on Dark and Elevation and some other places, is the Don Callis and Takeshita stuff. They were even spotted last night together at the Clippers game, where a lot of AEW talent. So something's going to happen there, and I'm really intrigued by what it's going to be.
Oh yeah, he's been for a couple months now
scouting him. We saw it in Indy. Yeah, he came out and scouted him. So
yep.
So. We then got Juice Robinson, one of Shep's favorites, backstage. Says he's here to kick ass and take names and win championships. He says Darby Allin's giving out open challenges. He will answer it at Rampage. So that's going to be a fun one Friday night.
Yeah. At least it's on TNT.
Yep.
I mean, that is one thing I will give them credit for. The TNT championship is defended more on Rampage than on Dynamite. So at least it's on the same network.
The TBS is not. It's defended more on Rampage than it is Dynamite.
Yeah. But it's because Friday loves Jade.
We then got the women's tag match that everybody was talking about going into tonight, and probably a lot of people are talking about after tonight. Toni Storm and Saraya versus Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. the Pillar and the Killer, which is like the number 4 selling T-shirt already on shopaew.com, which I knew that would be a popular one.
Oh yeah, anytime you put Britt on something with Jamie, it's gonna sell.
Yeah, they got huge pops tonight. They got bigger pops than Saraya and Tony Storm did. I like this feud as the AEW originals versus kind of the outsiders. I like it a lot. It was a fun match, good match. We saw Akira Shida get involved. She slides the kendo stick or tries to slide it to Tony, but Britt grabs it, smacks Tony in the back, and Hayter hits. Let's see, what did she hit her with? She nails Storm with the Haterade. Yeah, I love that. The Haterade to get the win. And Shida appears shocked, but I don't think she's shocked. We're going to get a heel turn, and we're going to get Tony Storm versus Shida, a little rivalry going.
Yeah. And speaking of her, I just get a notification from Twitter from Akira Shida saying, "What have I done?"
You know what you did.
See, and a lot of people were thinking somebody was making a debut tonight. And with that, I figured, all right, so she turns heel. That gives the perfect reason for her to come down to try to even up the odds. And
let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room. So a lot of people thought Mercedes Moné, or she actually wants it to be pronounced Monet, like money, but Monet, but Monet, I don't know, whatever. But a lot
Mercedes
of people,
Banks.
Yeah, a lot of people thought she would be in attendance. You know, she is technically a free agent now. She made her New Japan appearance at Wrestle Kingdom 17, and then she's got to face or she's got a challenge for the women's championship at their next pay-per-view. The name slipping my mind on February 18th out at San Jose.
Yes, that one.
Which it's already sold out. It was a small venue, but it's sold out. But so a lot of, and they fooled me. I thought she was going to show up because, I don't know, the build for this was weird. They built it as a mystery opponent. So, okay, you know. But then I think Tony didn't want to have another Christian Cage situation on his hands where he really built that up and a lot of people were disappointed. So then they insert Tony Storm and we see that kind of bickering with Shida. We're like, okay, maybe she's going to get taken out backstage or something. But then there's another part of this build to where Britt gave Saraya 2 tickets for this match. Mm-hmm. And Saraya, you know, everybody saw that a couple weeks ago, and she even said on her Twitch account this week that she found 2 perfect people for those seats. And also, we saw Britt last week in the pre-tape say something about the boss.
Yes.
So why would you do all that if you're not going to bring her in? That's what's kind of got me confused.
Because Tony Khan, I almost said Storm. Tony Khan has figured out how to tug on the heartstrings of the fans.
Yeah, but he's got to be careful, though. I mean, I saw a lot of people. I saw people that never. I mean, Tony can't do any wrong in their eyes. AEW fans on Twitter mad about this tonight.
Yeah, but you know, maybe it was out of TK's hands. Maybe she was the mystery opponent. Maybe Saraya wasn't supposed to announce Tony as her opponent. Maybe it was always supposed to be Mercedes. Maybe Mercedes backed out.
Could be. And maybe, I know Sean Ross Sapp's got to do some more digging because he said he didn't think AEW handled this the right way at all. So, I mean, she could have backed out. Maybe something with the New Japan agreement of wrestling in February. I don't know. I hope there's a logical reason because if not, I'll be honest, Tony dropped the ball with this. If not.
Yeah. I'll agree.
I got to be critical where criticals do. I mean, a lot of times I'll give Tony a pass or, you know, I'll make excuses for him, but not in this case, because especially with that boss line, because that sounded like that got approved from somebody beforehand. It wasn't something she just did on her own. So
no, because there was way too much emphasis on the word boss.
Maybe she'll show up later, but it definitely got a lot of people's hopes up that was going to be tonight, and they didn't pull the trigger on it.
Okay, so here's how you handle it. All right, you have Shida who throws the kendo stick in tonight. Oh no, what have I done? I didn't mean to do that. Tony was supposed to pick that up, who clearly was not going to get up, and Shida knew that. So we see this heel turn from Shida. So now it's 3, 4, whatever on 2. We'll take Rebel out of it. It's 3 on 2. Mm-hmm. And that's when you have Saraya go, fine, look, I've got us a third. Yeah. Don't worry about it. Boom. Because you mentioned it earlier, how this was kind of the homegrown versus the outsiders.
Mhm.
You can't add Sheeta to that mix because she is technically AEW homegrown.
Right.
If you didn't watch the Japan stuff, you didn't know who she was.
Right.
So there you go. Now you have 3-on-2 and eventually 3-on-3 with 3 outsiders.
Well, and to be honest, I'd be surprised if Mercedes became an all elite full talent because
No.
they usually sign them to 3-year contracts or so. And she wants to do a lot of other projects outside of wrestling, so that would surprise me if she commits anywhere like that. But
yeah, and
could be wrong.
And maybe that's what it came down to, is maybe she said, look, I don't want to sign a full contract. I'll do a pay per appearance, but you got to match what New Japan paid me. And TK was like, I don't know.
We'll see.
I mean, he gets money happy sometimes, but with some of the other news going on in the world right now, maybe he didn't want to.
I don't know. We'll see. I hope there's something that comes out of it, because if not, he should have done his prep work a little better, and they should have never done the mystery opponent angle. So
right, and of course, nobody can say this had anything to do with COVID or anything like that, because we saw Kenny tonight.
Right.
So we can't use that as an excuse.
No. We then heard from the Jericho Appreciation Society. Well, before that, we heard from Eddie Kingston and Ortiz. They're going to be facing House of Black, or actually Brody King and Malachi Black of the House of Black on Friday night.
Kings of the Black Throne.
Kings of the Black Throne. Yes, thank you. I couldn't think of it, and we'll see if Eddie and Ortiz can get along. No,
they're falling apart. Ortiz, in my opinion, was the weakest link of the three of them. That's just me. I always really enjoyed Santana. Of course, I know there was a falling out between the three of them personally. But I'm ready to see Santana back whenever he can get back in.
Yeah, he got hurt
he goes with All Elite.
May or June with the Blood and Guts. So
yeah.
Yeah, we did see the JS come out, and Jericho talks about them appearing at PWG, which is really cool.
It was.
Tay Mello talks about how she's in a street fight. Her and Anna Jay are going to be a street fight against Willow Nightingale and Ruby Soho, which I hope that lives up to the street fight that Tay and Anna were in last time against Penelope Ford and the Bunny, because that was a great match on Rampage last year. But they're talking about Hager sending Ricky Starks through a table last week, and Andrade getting sent back to the minors. Jericho's claiming that Starks' experiment is over, but then Starks comes out with Action Andrade. There
you go.
Andretti, jeez, by his side.
I did it too. Don't worry.
Yeah,
Last week was the first time I finally got it as Andretti, because my brain just read it and went, "Oh, Andrade."
Yeah.
Whoops.
I've said Andrade too many times on this podcast.
Yes.
Starks, though, rips them, calls them a bunch of idiots who couldn't get the job done. They put him through a table as he's standing right here. Jericho then calls Andretti Oliver Twist, who is an orphan, but he tells Jericho to shut up before he takes the baseball bat and shoves up his ass. Then he gets to Daniel Garcia, tells him to shut up, and said didn't know that Sammy would let Garcia talk. Points out that Sammy can't keep control of his wife or where her hands go, because last week they're between his legs. So I thought he saved that. I thought at first, I'm like, man, his mic work's just not quite there. He's making himself look a little weak, but then he got the crowd into it a little bit with some lines. And Starks was great on the mic like usual, except he did challenge Hager to a match next week, and we already saw that on the preview, and then Excalibur has to save it and say, well, he already got it approved by Tony Khan for next week, and then all Hager says is that he likes his hat and that he's undefeated in MMA. So, yep.
Although Starks, man, he disrespected Gilligan, comparing Hager and Gilligan one and the same. But I love calling out the lisp, though.
That was
fantastic.
That was the first time I've ever heard somebody
point that out to
Hager, and then Hager's going to smack his face off his face.
Yeah,
and I like Starks calling me big dumb idiot, just like he used to call Brian Cage that too. So
yep, yeah, that was. Keep Hager off the microphone.
Yeah, it's this is a good feud for Starks, but let's be honest, it's gonna go clear to Revolution. That's what Jericho feuds do. They last for months.
Yes, Yeah,
tell stories. They tell stories, but they last for a long time.
Yeah, they do. But okay, look, I am over Ty and Anna J.
No, I am too.
I'll say it right
I
there.
am too. I am too. The vlog was back. Sammy's vlog was back this week.
I didn't even watch it.
I did check it out, but it was nothing. Don't waste your time. Pretty
Just
much.
the two of them, probably.
No, there was some good, there was some decent stuff. And Sammy said he's not going to. There's some months where he'll only do 2 a month, and not every week. He's just said life's got too busy to do one every week. And he said if whereas in the past he's rushed some content just to put one out, and where he hasn't felt good about it, so he's not gonna do that anymore. Which I get.
Yeah, I get that.
We then got Game 7, as they were calling it, Match 7 of the
Yeah.
best of 7 series between the defending trios champions, the Death Triangle, versus the Elite, the Escalera de la Muerte match, which, if you remember, in 2019 at All Out, I believe it was, the Young Bucks and the Lucha Bros tore the house down with that one, to where Mrs. Mac Jackson couldn't even watch the match because she was too nervous. But, I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, they're only getting 17 minutes. I thought this was going to be about 30.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it still was a very fun match. It wasn't as crazy as I thought it was going to be, though.
No, it was a little more contained, which honestly I kind of liked, because you were able to keep up. When we had the Bucks versus the Lucha Bros in 2019, I had no clue what was going on in that match because there's so much going on at all times. The cameraman's trying to keep up, and we're bouncing and bouncing and bouncing. And this one seemed a little more contained.
It did, and what was I guess? I lost my train of thought.
Yeah,
but
it's only Wednesday.
I know. But it still had some fun spots in it. Here's
what
I was going to say. But we've seen so many matches between these two now. I mean, the one in Denver was amazing. The 6th match, we've seen the Falls Count Anywhere, the no DQ. We've seen some crazy spots already. So this match didn't have to have all the crazy spots in it.
Right.
We still got some table spots. We still got some ladder spots. In the end, Kenny's the one beaten and battered, as everybody is in this match, to climb up. It took him forever to get the one of the trios belts. So now, for the second time, the Elite are trios champions, and let's see what they can finally do with it on a run.
Yeah, we're going to get some of those storylines that we were looking at getting before the Brawl Out. Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see what I got to think. House of Black's going to be in there somewhere eventually. Hopefully, they save that for a little bit, because I would like to see House of Black take it off of them.
Yeah, I'd like to see it this fall.
It'll be interesting to see what other teams are in this. Of course, I don't think we're going to get the Adam Cole storyline, since Kyle O'Reilly's not around. Of course, Bobby Fish isn't around, but we'll see. And maybe Jay White could be joining the company, but I think he's gonna go out east. I think he's gonna go to the eastern part of the United States, in Connecticut. I think that's what it sounded like. So.
See, that's what I wanted to talk about when we got done. The rumors are saying that he's going to be done. He's going to Connecticut.
Yeah.
With some of the rumors that are coming out, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the guys don't reach out that know him, like the Bucks, Kenny, Adam, and say, "Hey, look, dude, you don't know what's going to happen there. Anything could happen at this point. Here, it's more secure."
Yeah, well, SRS was talking about today on his Listen Your Boy show, and he gave it AEW 15%, New Japan 10%, WWE the rest. So he's pretty good about that stuff. He doesn't throw percentages out there unless he's pretty confident. Finn Balor this week tweeted a picture of the Bullet Club, like every member that's ever been in it, like a character drawing. That wasn't a mistake. And did you notice the Cody character had the neck tattoo?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh, hey.
Well, which is interesting, because if they do get Jay right, all of a sudden WWE's got Finn Balor, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, AJ Styles, Jay White, and potentially Cody Rhodes too. Hikuleo potentially could be coming over, and Tama Tonga. They're interested in both. They could all of a sudden have a little Bullet Club storyline.
Yeah.
And they have that company has the right to do this, the too sweet gesture.
Yeah.
It's really interesting stuff.
And
So
now you got to send Vince a check for doing that on KOP. Good
I
job.
will not. I should have worn my shirt that has that on it.
Yeah. So you did it again.
I think he's got other things to worry about right now.
Yes, he does.
So, but fun episode of Dynamite, in my opinion.
Yeah.
What do you rate it tonight?
It was a little better than last week. I think again there was a lot of build up for Mercedes.
I liked last week's. So
well, yeah.
I've enjoyed it about 4 weeks in a row.
I had some complaints. I think last week was one of my lowest ratings
it was
in a while.
It was.
I wasn't convinced on Mercedes showing up like everybody else was. I could have said a lot of things on here tonight that would have really upset the internet and the marks, but
should have done it. Don't hold back.
Why? They're already in their mom's basement crying because she didn't show up. They don't have anything to, explicit themselves with because now she's not there. So they're all sad and depressed and down in mommy's basement crying about it. They're all mean to us. They didn't do it. But I never bought into the hype that she was coming.
Well, you don't like her anyway, so.
No, I don't. I haven't ever liked her since NXT. So I'll just throw that out there.
Hey, each their own.
Yep. Yeah. And then the only other thing, the Ricky Starks segment, I feel like he thought maybe they weren't doing the pre-match, here's what's coming up until after that segment. So I think that was kind of just a miscommunication. But overall, I think you're going to be a little surprised by this. I went 8-6 for tonight's rating.
That's honestly right around what I was thinking. So I'll throw it to 8-4. I'll go a little lower than that. And really, the only reason I don't have it close to a 9 is the Mercedes stuff.
Yeah, see.
I just think there was too many hints, and Tony's learning, but he needs to stop that stuff. If it's not going to happen, don't even hint it. It'd just be an absolute surprise. So.
Well, and again, like I said, I'm not defending TK at all. Maybe this one was beyond his control. Maybe until
it could be, and I could come back next Wednesday and have a whole different tune on it, depending on what we might find out. So,
yeah, well, TK will be on half a dozen podcasts between now and next Wednesday, and SRS will have stuff, and Tanner will have this whole new insight come next Wednesday.
Well, it's. I'll get into what I was going to say after who's your wrestler tonight. Then I'll get into what I was going to say.
The best bout machine, Kenny Omega. I mean, how can you go with anybody else? 17 hours jet lag in New Japan for 2 matches. One that I don't know how he walked out of. I don't know how either of those walked out of that match. But, I mean, how can you not go with Kenny Omega? 2 good matches in Japan, turn around, fly back, get a couple hours of sleep, get back on an airplane, fly over to LA.
No, I can't argue that, but since you picked him, I'm not going to agree with you. I'm going Hangman Adam Page. Huge win over Moxley. Second biggest win of his AEW career behind when he took the belt off Omega at Full Gear 2021. So, good for him.
If we wouldn't have seen Kenny Omega tonight, Hangman would have been my pick.
Sure. No, you could have won.
I can't argue with that.
Tonight's card lived up to the hype. They really hyped this Dynamite up, and I thought it lived up to the hype. So,
yeah,
fun show. But what I was going to say is, of course, last night was a crazy night for internet wrestling, the internet wrestling community, Twitter. There's so many wrestling journalists out there and some wannabe journalists. You kind of have to know who to follow and who not to follow when it comes to this stuff.
I just wait. I saw the best tweet that I saw came from today. I won't believe it until SRS tweets it.
No, he is, I think, the best in the business. Well, I kind of blame Alvarez and Meltzer for this.
Oh,
even though they're two of the best, but Alvarez kind of started the whole thing. Said, "I think massive news is coming tonight," and then Dave says it appears that way, and then they go silent. They don't talked about after that happened. SRS said today he got 200 DMs on Twitter just from that. And that's when he finally came out and said, "Here is the rumor everybody's speculating." Didn't confirm anything. Didn't say, he started digging. A lot of people started digging. Well, then Cassidy Haynes of bodyslam.net, which is one I usually do trust, and he still could be right in the long game of this. He broke the news that said, there's a deal in place in principle, but it's got to go through different channels to be agreed upon. Pretty much that's what he said. I'm not going quote for quote.
Right.
And, the reason I trust him and started following him is he was the one that 2 years ago broke the Bryan Danielson to AEW stuff. And it was correct on that. So, he's got good sources. But there was another guy out there that got swear, but then Ariel Helwani today, who's real connected with pro wrestling and MMA world, he was the one that came out and squashed everything today, said that there's no agreement in place. They're still going to look at their options. And the one thing to me that was, and I don't know a ton about the business side of this stuff, but, they did come out with the Wall Street Journal that WWE's working with JP Morgan on this. So if a sale would have happened last night, that's unbelievably fast for all this to come together.
Unless it was already in the works.
As a public company, though, it would have been different if it was private. If they're private, they could get this stuff done fast.
Right.
Public company, you got to go through a lot of more channels. So,
yes. And then later this afternoon, the news breaks that Vince is being sued by some stakeholders.
Yeah, well, whatever. Yes, whatever. He's in the news every day. So, I mean,
yeah.
I could see a sale happening maybe 6 months from now, but I'd be shocked if we see anything come springtime.
Yeah, and we'll get through Mania one way or the other.
Yeah.
Shep agreed with my original thought process on this. I don't know if you did or not, but if they are now, again, this was all when this was all rumored that this was happening, that Stephanie randomly out of the blue resigns.
Yeah.
And I've read the letter. It never fully says in there, "I'm resigning." She says, "I look forward to cheering on the WWE from the other side of the business, where I started as a kid, as a pure fan." She never says, "I chose to resign."
Right.
Now, and this is all a long shot, and don't quote me on this, and I'm not saying this happened. I don't have sources at WWE. I don't have sources at AEW. I have sources at KOP, and that's me, Tanner, and Austin Shepard.
And we don't have any sources. So
no. So we're all just, as a lot of people are, we're speculating. We're not saying any of this stuff is legit. But if they are selling to the Saudis, it would make sense for Steph needing to step down.
Sure.
But then I also realized something else. For the first time in history, since AEW was born, the two biggest pro wrestling companies in probably the world both have CEOs with the same last name.
Khan, yep.
Now that Nick Khan is sole CEO.
Yep. So we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. If I had to place money on this, I still think at the end of the day that NBC Universal buys them.
Or the mouse.
Which that would be weird.
It would. Can you just imagine Mickey Mouse as Raw general manager?
Yeah, but it's going to be interesting one way or another. But I thought for a little bit last night it was the biggest night in pro wrestling history, but it turned out not to be the case. But it still has been a crazy first 11 days of 2023. I mean, for a while last night, I'm like, we just saw the craziest year in pro wrestling history in 2022 in a lot of aspects. And 2023 is already saying, "Hey, hold my beer." So.
Yeah, exactly. Or tequila.
Yeah, whatever your drinking choice.
Yeah, I mean, we've got an hour till episode 3 of FTR with Dax drops. And man, he's not making a whole lot of fans in the business, is he?
I love his podcast, so
I do too. I'm just saying, I mean, he lays it all out there. He doesn't care. He's taking not shots. I won't say that, but he has openly talked about, Road Dogg. He's openly talked about Tully, and
Yeah.
everything. Nothing is off the table here.
That's what makes a great podcast, really.
Absolutely. And
so really enjoying it.
I was hesitant. I'm not a big podcast listener. I love doing KOP. I catch Jericho's when I can, but I'm not one of those that I go, oh man, this amount of time until the next one drops.
Right.
But I'm actually doing that with Dax's. So
Conrad's built a great empire there with ad-free shows. I mean, pretty much everyone he touches gold. So,
although last week's episode was hilarious with the Blue Chew segment.
Yes, where his daughter came in at the wrong time.
Yeah. So is that how we get? Have you reached out to Blue Chew yet, so we can do that too?
I have not.
See, there you go.
Hey, you're in radio biz. I'll let you handle that side.
I'm not a salesman. I have guys that do that for me.
Pass it on to one of your guys. Have them do it for us.
Yeah. One might.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
No, but one thing I wanted to do at the start of the show, and I might start incorporating this every week, maybe every other week. I don't know. And I forgot to, so now I'm just gonna throw it at you. I got a trivia question for you, Paul.
Man, it's trivia. Not Friday.
AEW trivia.
It's not Friday. This is not fair.
Nobody's gonna understand what you're talking about there.
No, I work at the local radio station. Tanner works for a company that comes in and hosts a show every Friday morning, and he asks me trivia every Friday morning. And he makes me think at 7:30 in the morning, and that does not work. And now he's doing it again at 11 o'clock at night.
11 o'clock at night, yeah. So, but this one is of course AEW related, so I think you got a chance here. So,
and I don't get the whole show to think about it either.
It's not multiple choice. It's a multi-answer, but it's not multiple choice. So, all right, TNT Championship.
Okay.
Who won it first? The first
Cody.
Ever TNT Championship. Okay, got that part right. Who'd he beat?
Yes.
It was a tournament. It was in the tournament finals. Because remember, I'll give you some hints. This was 2020. This was Daily Place era. So they had to rush this whole thing.
Yeah. Wasn't Starks.
Nope.
Wasn't Brody.
Nope.
Was it Darby?
Nope.
Wasn't MJF.
Nope. Lance Archer.
Oh yeah.
Where was it at? What pay-per-view?
That one.
You got 1 in 4 chance.
Sure I do. Full Gear?
Double or Nothing.
Okay.
And lastly, you are failing at this.
I am.
Lastly,
I got the first champion right. That's all that matters.
Who was the celebrity that presented the title to Cody?
I can see it. I saw it. I could. Oh man!
Remember, the TNT title was not finished yet, so it was just red and silver. It was an ugly looking title.
Yes, it was. I'm gonna hate myself.
Mike Tyson.
Yeah, I'm gonna hate. I knew I was gonna hate myself as soon as you said it, because he sat ringside the entire time.
Yep. Yes, he did.
Yeah. See, I could see it all unfolding, but I could not place the face.
Yep.
You said celebrity, and I went, "Oh, Shaq," and then you went TNT, and I went, "Oh crap."
Yep. So.
That was not fair.
Just be prepared. You know, I might do it every week. I might do it every other week, but usually it'll be you and Shep both competing. So.
All right. Well,
yeah, and hey, maybe in the future, because I'm planning on keeping this title for a long time. Maybe that's how I determine my number one contenders. Trivia questions.
That's not fair.
Study up, boys. Study up.
And Shep doesn't even know this is coming.
Yeah, he better see this. This is going to test if he listens or not. This is going to test if he listens or watches or not. If he says anything in the group message.
Yeah, well, it'll be tomorrow afternoon before he does.
Right.
Because we all know he's gonna wake up and immediately turn on FTR with Dax.
Yeah, don't blame him. After he watches, or he's probably up late watching if it's still going on, like the Chili Bowl or whatever. That he's into that racing, so dirt racing. So
yeah, last week or the week before, he had it on 2 different screens.
yeah, which is
Dirt
cool.
racing and Dynamite.
Cool. Yeah, D's and D's. Anything else you want to talk about a cover before we wrap this one up this week? A little shorter than we've been the last few weeks.
Well, we didn't go down as many rabbit holes, and when we did, we kept them pretty short. Man, I don't know. I'm interested to see, and I had said this earlier. I think this is the first time since WWE had to get the F out that I've seen news outlets outside of the sports world actually cover what they're doing, apart from the Vince McMahon allegations, which
well, and see, that was one of the time periods in my life where I wasn't watching pro wrestling, was when they got the F out. So I don't really
you were like
that.
8.
Yeah, I was pretty young, but because I stopped watching. I watched I don't know if I watched in 97, but I remember watching 98 and 99, and then the end of 99, early 2000, I stopped, and then I picked it back up in 03. So,
all right, yeah. Okay. So, I want to get on record. I want to get this on record. How fast, if the Saudis are buying this and Vince goes public, because we haven't heard from WWE yet. Anywhere. No remarks, nothing. If it comes out that, yes, Vince is leaning towards selling to the Saudis, apart from Sami Zayn, because we know he's out, who else do you think would immediately walk out the door?
A lot.
Walk out, not get fired.
No, a lot. I think a lot of them would.
Because, I mean, you've immediately got the LGBTQ plus community that's in WWE that's going to leave.
Right.
I'm sure 99% of the women's roster is going to be fired, unless they are agreeing to cover themselves completely.
This is just why I don't see how they can allow this to happen. But even though Vince is the final say, because he's got 71% of the power still.
Is it 71%? I thought I saw a report that it was like 81-ish.
I thought it was 71, maybe 81, 71. But because,
still, it's majority.
I think the Saudis are the only ones that would allow him to keep control. Because I don't think there's any American buyer that would let him. They would want him out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, there's too many negative allegations against him.
Rightfully so. And, I mean, the Saudis, the prince is so nuts that he's so out of touch that a couple years ago he wanted Yokozuna and the Ultimate Warrior wrestling. They're dead. He had no idea they were dead. Yeah. That's why we got Goldberg against the Undertaker. That's why we got all these old fart matches that were awful.
Old fart matches. Oh, hey, Goldberg's coming back.
Yeah, that's the best news for Goldberg fans is this potential deal.
And I've seen this in like 7 or 8 different places. So Money in the Bank's from UK this year.
Yeah, it's in the O2 in London.
And apparently Hogan's sitting in the bus somehow on the upper level.
I didn't see anything about that.
Now, well, a lot of people have, enhanced it, and I'm sure it's probably a work, but it wouldn't surprise me to put Hogan at that pay-per-view in London.
Yeah.
But then the question becomes, does he come out to the American side of things, or does he come out as the NWO? Or neither?
When it comes to the WWE, I want him to do one thing in the next coming months. One thing. Let Cody win the big one at Mania. That's all I'm asking. Please. Just please.
Okay, so let me ask you this. We've seen the rumors that night 1's going to be Rollins, Cody for 1 belt. Night 2 is going to be The Rock, Roman for the other belt. Now, I don't remember if I said this on the podcast last week or if I had this in another conversation outside of the podcast. Here's how you do this, in my opinion. It's time for new belts. Those belts are stupid. They've always been stupid. Universal Champion. Okay, that should take precedence over WWE then, because that means it's bigger, but it's the secondary belt. You have The Rock. Obviously, Dwayne Johnson's big enough. The last time they introduced a new belt, Dwayne came back, won the title, introduced the new belt. Last time Cody won a championship in the WWE, he brought back the white Intercontinental title. You have The Rock win, you have Cody win. You have Cody bring back the big gold belt, and you have Rock bring back something WWE related, not the current style, but maybe something closer to the 90s style belt he held. Thoughts?
Rock's not winning. I can tell you that. I like where you're going with it, but Rock's not winning. So I like what you said about Cody, though, because Cody likes the winged eagle belt. The one that like Shawn had in the early 90s. So that wouldn't shock me if he did something like that. But I'm still not convinced they're getting to Rockamania. We'll see. We'll see here in the next couple of weeks. But if that doesn't happen, then it's Roman and Cody, I think.
For both.
Probably. And they should not. They have to have Cody on Raw as a champion because Raw doesn't have a champion half the time right now.
No, because he's always on SmackDown on Friday nights.
It's just stupid.
Well, that's because Heyman's got more pull on SmackDown than he does Raw, so it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, he and Bischoff couldn't last as any pull for anything. So I don't know, man. It's an interesting time to be a pro wrestling fan. Great time, but interesting time.
It is, absolutely. Whether it's New Japan, whether it's the indie scene, whether it's AEW, whether it's WWE, ROH, Impact. There's so many things to watch. I mean, I can't get mad at anybody for watching any of it.
WYW, watch your wrestling.
Yep. It's a good promotion name.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
I don't think I have anything else. I'm sure I do, but it's not coming to my brain right now at 11:12. So
I don't. We talked about the big WWE news, Stephanie resigning. I don't think it was her decision. I think it was the board's decision. Because now you only got one female on the board, and she'd be easy to replace.
Mm-hmm.
We talked the rumors. We talked speculations. Do you think Cody comes back at the Rumble, or do they wait?
No, I think he definitely is at the Rumble because they put him on the poster. He was one of the 12 on the poster. I just think it's stupid, though. And I think, they're doing this vignettes. I think the final one's got to be like returning at the Rumble when it pops up or whatever instead of continues. So I don't know if he wins it, though. Seth might win it. I don't know what they're going to do. But that's why I will watch Rumble. I don't tune in every week. I've been tuning in to see these Cody vignettes, and that's it. The rest of it's just dry and boring to me.
I
can't do it.
Look, I was told Cody was going to be on a Raw one time. I sat through 3 hours of Raw for no Cody. I am not watching for the vignettes. And again, I don't care if somebody does watch WWE. More power to them.
I don't either.
Yeah, I just can't get behind it right now.
No, there's a lot of reasons I can't get behind it right now. But
hey, you know what? Say all the bad things you want about AEW. I'm fine, but at least we've never had the middle rope break twice during the same match.
True.
Just
sparklers, saying. No middle rope, but sparklers.
Man, you gotta let the sparklers go.
I never will let that go. That would have been such an awesome ending, and it just.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Miscue.
Yep. So, all right, Paul, wrap us up.
All right. Hey, don't forget to check out the Kicking Out Pod on all social media at Kicking Out Pod. We've got our very own merchandise store now. So head on over to kickingoutshop.com. Grab yourself some KOP merchandise. I'm glad I remembered that. I had to look it up last week as I was trying to wrap the show. You can get a great shirt like Tanner's got on there. My order for my coffee mug will be going in this week or next.
Yep.
That'll be nice. I'll sit here and sip coffee out of a KOP coffee mug while we do the podcast. So lots of great things over there. Go check it out. You can get yourself a hoodie. You can get yourself a t-shirt. We've got all sorts of different designs. You can get yourself a coffee mug. And here's the great thing. I'm a bigger guy. We offer plus sizes. So go check it out. That is awesome. I know a lot of places will cut off at like 2 or 3X, but we've got 4X on there. I think we've even got a couple things that reach all the way to 5.
Yeah, it's Teesprings who we go through. That's the website, and they provide the products. So whatever they have, we roll with. So.
Yeah, so thanks to them for having the bigger sizes. That means you can get some KOP merchandise, support a great podcast, look great doing so. And speaking of that, be sure to listen to the Kicking Out podcast wherever it is you listen to your podcasts. And if it happens to be Apple Music, leave us that 5-star review, because we want to be 5-star KOP by the end of 2023. And we're already number 200 in Canada. So thanks, Shep, because the Canadians love you.
Canada.
Hey, a lot of good things come from
native land. Don't know the rest.
Okay, I was letting you get done. A lot of good things come from Canada. Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, Christian, Ryan Reynolds. I mean,
you forgot Bret Hart. I'm about ready to log off right now.
I did that on purpose.
Yeah, and you got me fired up.
Yeah, I knew I would. You're kind of like FTR. You can't talk Canada without Bret. So no, yes, Bret Hart from Canada, the entire Hart Dungeon, the Hart family
foundation.
Yep, all up in Canada. So hey, you know what? I will take that. The Hart Foundation loves us. That is what we're going with. That is new. And the Canadians love Shep too. So, but we want to be 5-star KOP by the end of 2023. So give us that 5-star rating on Apple Podcast. Help us move up the rankings like the Canadians have done. Thank you to our friends up in Canada for that. And be sure to follow Tanner Lee on all social media at TannerLee92. Follow the Kicking Out Podcast. Again, it's at Kicking Out Pod on all platforms. And follow myself at Paul Zartman 921. And with that, for Tanner Lee, I'm Paul Zartman. Join us again next week as somebody will be kicking out yet another podcast.